How did he take the news?"
"It is hard to say," said Ingrey with politic vagueness. "Master Lord Edouard sent me."
"Ah, of course." Ingrey could read little in the housemaster's reaction, except the obvious, that Ulcra was glad to be handing responsibility for this onto someone else. Uneasily, Ulcra folded back the pale cloth covering his dead master. Ingrey frowned at the body. Prince Boleso Stagthorn had been the youngest of the Hallow King's surviving, of the Hallow King's sons, Ingrey corrected his thought in flight. Boleso was still a young man, for all he had come to his full growth and strength some years ago. Tall, muscular, he shared the long jaw of his family, masked with a short brown beard. The darker brown of his head was tangled now and matted with blood. His booming energy was stilled, drained of it. His face lost its former fascination, and left Ingrey wondering how he had once been fooled into thinking it handsome. He moved forward, hands cradling the skull, probing the wound. Wounds. The shattered bone beneath the scalp gave beneath his thumb's pressure on either side of a pair of deep lacerations, blackened with dried gore.
"What weapon did this?"
"The prince's own warhammer. It was on the stand with his armor, in his bedchamber."
"How very unexpected. To him as well."
Grimly, Ingrey considered the fates of princes. All his short life, according to Edouard, Boleso had been alternately petted and neglected by parents and servants both. The natural arrogance of his blood tainted with a precarious hunger for honor, fame, reward. The arrogance, or was it the anxiety, had bloated of late to something overweening, desperately out of balance.
And that which is out of balance falls.
The prince wore a short, open robe of worked wool, lined with fur, blood-splashed. He must have been wearing it when he'd died. Nothing more. No other recent wounds marked his pale skin. When the housemaster said they had waited for instructions, Ingrey decided, he had understated the case. The prince's retainers had evidently been so benumbed by the shocking event, they had not even dared wash or garb the corpse. Grime darkened the folds of Boleso's body. No, not grime. Ingrey ran a finger along a groove of chill flesh and stared warily at the smear of color, dull blue and stamen yellow, and, where they blended, a sickly green. Dye, paint, some colored powder. The dark fur of the inner robe, too, showed faint smears. Ingrey straightened, and his eye fell on what he had at first taken for a bundle of furs laid along the far wall. He stepped closer and knelt. It was a dead leopard. "Leopardess," he amended, turning the beast partly over. The fur was fine and soft, fascinating beneath his hands. He traced the cold, curving ears, the stiff white whiskers, the pattern of dark whorls upon golden skin. He picked up one heavy paw, feeling the leathery pads, the thick ivory claws. The claws had been clipped. A red silk cord was bound tightly around the neck, biting deeply into its fur. Its end was cut off. Ingrey's hairs prickled, a reaction he quelled. Ingrey glanced up. Ulcra, watching him, looked even more bleakly blank than before.
"This is no creature of our woods. Where in the world did it come from?"
Ulcra cleared his throat. "The prince obtained it from some Darthican merchants. He proposed to start a menagerie here at the castle, or possibly train it for hunting, he said."
"How long ago was this?"
"A few weeks, just before his lady's sister stopped here." Ingrey fingered the red cord, letting his brows rise. He nodded at the dead animal.
"And how did this happen?"
"We found it hanging from a beam in the prince's bedroom when we, went in." Ingrey sat back on his heels. He was beginning to see why no temple divine had yet been called up to take charge of the funeral rites. The daubing, the red cord, the oak beam, hinted of an animal not merely slain but sacrificed, of someone dabbling